Did you know that Michigan has more shoreline than California, and every inch of it is freshwater? Or that one of its islands has kept cars out for over 100 years? Or that deep below Detroit lies an ancient world carved entirely from salt? Well, Michigan is overflowing with history, invention, and natural beauty. Some of it you might expect, some of it will absolutely surprise you. So get comfortable, because we're about to travel through 25 incredible facts about Michigan, a state of water, industry, and imagination. And before we begin, comment blue for 10 years of Great Lakes good luck. Fact 25. The Great Lakes, Michigan's ocean. Michigan is bordered by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, and Erie. Altogether, they create more than 3,200 miles of freshwater coastline, more than any other state in the country. Stand on the beach at Sleeping Bear Dunes or Grand Haven, and you'll swear you're looking at an ocean. The horizon disappears into blue, gulls circle overhead, and the wind tastes like salt even though there is none. The lakes control Michigan's weather, temper its summers, and bury its winters in snow. They are trade routes, playgrounds, and natural defenses all at once. Over time, storms have sunk more than 6,000 ships beneath these waters, earning the nickname the Great Lakes Graveyard. Yet every spring, the same waves glitter under sunlight, calm and inviting again. For Michiganders, the water is both wild and familiar. It's not something you visit, it's something you live beside. Fact 24. The Mitten and the Wolverine. When people from Michigan show you where they're from, they raise a hand. The Lower Peninsula looks just like a mitten, so each city has a place on the palm. Detroit near the thumb, Grand Rapids near the middle, Traverse City on the pinky curve. And then there's the Upper Peninsula, hanging above like a separate world. The nickname Wolverine State came from 19th century traders and soldiers who said Michigan settlers fought like the fierce little animal itself, stubborn, fearless, and relentless. That spirit still runs through the people here. They work hard, they rebuild, and they never back down from cold weather or hard times. Comment "Go Blue" if you think Michigan has that kind of strength. Fact 23. 11,000 lakes and counting. Beyond the Great Lakes, Michigan hides another 11,000 inland lakes and more than 36,000 miles of streams. That means no one in the state is ever more than 6 miles from a natural body of water. These lakes are smaller, quieter, and endlessly varied, from deep, glacial bowls to mirror-flat ponds surrounded by pine. Torch Lake, with its bright turquoise shallows, looks like the Caribbean. Locals call it the Jewel of Michigan. In summer, families gather on wooden docks. Kids cannonball into cool water, and boats float under sunsets that last forever. By winter, those same lakes freeze solid. Anglers drill holes in the ice, building tiny huts to fish beneath frozen sky. Water shapes every rhythm of life here. It's recreation, resource, and refuge all in one. Fact 22. The Mackinac Bridge, 5 miles of steel and sky, stretching nearly 5 miles across the Straits of Mackinac. The Mackinac Bridge connects the upper and lower peninsulas. When it opened in 1957, it was the longest suspension bridge in the Western Hemisphere, and even today, it ranks among the engineering marvels of the world. The bridge's twin towers rise 552 feet above the water. Its cables contain enough wire to circle the Earth. Driving across feels like hovering over infinity, blue water below, endless sky above. Every Labor Day, more than 40,000 people walk it on foot. A Michigan tradition celebrating unity between the two peninsulas. On calm days, you can see freighters gliding beneath you. On foggy mornings, the whole span vanishes into white. It's not just a bridge, it's a bond that ties one state together. Fact 21. Detroit, the Motor City. Detroit transformed the modern world. Here, in 1908, Henry Ford created the assembly line, a simple idea that revolutionized industry. Cars became affordable, jobs multiplied, and Detroit became the beating mechanical heart of America. General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford, the Big Three, turned iron and oil into freedom on 4 wheels. But Detroit's rhythm wasn't only mechanical. In 1959, Berry Gordy founded Motown Records inside a small house on West Grand Boulevard. From there came legends: Stevie Wonder, The Supremes, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, artists who carried Detroit's soul to the world. Motown and Motors, 2 different engines, 1 city. Detroit is proof that even through hardship and rebirth, creativity, and grit keep rolling forward. Fact 20. Becoming the 26th state. Michigan joined the Union on January 26, 1837, but the path to statehood wasn't simple. It fought a boundary dispute with Ohio known as the Toledo War. Neither side fired a fatal shot, but the argument over a thin strip of land dragged on for months. In the end, Ohio kept Toledo, and Michigan was given the vast, mineral-rich Upper Peninsula. At first, the deal looked unfair. Later, it proved priceless. The UP held copper, iron, and forests that fueled Michigan's early prosperity. So, what began as a compromise became one of the best trades in U.S. history. That's Michigan, turning obstacles into opportunity. Fact 19. A name born from water. The name Michigan comes from the Ojibwe word Michigami, great water. Centuries before settlers arrived, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples navigated these vast lakes by canoe, trading furs and stories along wooded shores. Their respect for the water ran deep. They saw it as both pathway and protector. Even today, many towns and rivers still carry native names. Kalamazoo, Ontonagon, Taquamenon, echoes of that first connection between people and place. Michigan's identity will always flow from its waters. Fact 18. A kingdom of forests. More than half of Michigan, roughly 20 million acres, is covered by forest. From sugar maples in the south to white pines in the north, trees here shape both economy and imagination. Logging once dominated the 19th century landscape, feeding shipyards and sawmills that built American cities. When the timber ran out, conservationists moved in, replanting and restoring what had been lost. Today, vast state and national forests shelter bears, wolves, eagles, and countless lakes. Every fall, those woods ignite in color, gold, crimson, orange, drawing travelers from around the world. If you love autumn drives, hit that like button. Michigan does fall better than anywhere else. Fact 17. The cherry capital of the world. Traverse City, overlooking the blue expanse of Lake Michigan, is world famous for cherries. In the late 1800s, early settlers discovered the region's rolling hills, and lake-cooled climate were perfect for tart cherry trees. By the 1920s, Michigan was producing millions of pounds each year, and the National Cherry Festival was born. Parades fill the streets, air shows roar overhead, and nearly everything on the menu includes cherries. From pies and jams to sausages and soda, today Michigan grows about 70% of America's tart cherries, exporting them around the world. It's sweet proof that even northern climates can bear delicious fruit. Fact 16. Mackinac Island, where time stands still. Just a short ferry ride from the mainland lies Mackinac Island, a place seemingly frozen in the 19th century. Since 1898, almost all motor vehicles have been banned. Visitors travel by horse-drawn carriage, bicycle, or on foot along narrow streets lined with Victorian homes. The air smells of lilacs and fudge, the island's signature treat, and the clip-clop of hooves echoes through town. Mackinac was once a fur trading post and military fort. Today it's one of America's most beloved summer escapes. When the ferry pulls away at sunset and the church bells chime across the water, you realize why people come back year after year. Comment, "Take me to Mackinac if you'd trade city noise for lake breeze." Fact 15. The buried town of Singapore. Along the Lake Michigan shoreline near Saugatuck once stood a prosperous lumber port called Singapore. In the 1830s, it thrived. Sawmills buzzed, ships loaded timber bound for Chicago. But relentless logging stripped the forests bare, and strong winds from the lake began carrying sand inland. Without trees to hold it, dunes marched over the town. By 1875, Singapore was gone, buried beneath shifting hills of sand. Today, those dunes still move with the wind, hiding the remains of a lost city. It's one of Michigan's quiet reminders that nature always gets the final word. Fact 14. The salt mines beneath Detroit, hidden more than 1,200 feet underground. Detroit's vast salt mine stretches for over 1,500 acres. Formed by an ancient sea that evaporated some 400 million years ago, it's a glittering labyrinth of tunnels carved from solid salt. Workers descend by elevator into a quiet world where walls sparkle like crushed diamonds under headlamps. Down there, the air is cool and dry. You can hear your own heartbeat echo off the rock. The salt once supplied winter roads and industry, but today it also stands as a monument to Michigan's deep geological past. Few cities on Earth have such an ancient world directly beneath them. Fact 12. Winter. A season that defines the state. Michigan doesn't experience winter, it embodies it. Lake effect snow sweeps inland, burying towns beneath blankets of white. Ice forms thick enough to drive on. Skaters glide across frozen lakes. Snowmobiles roar through forest trails. Yet despite the cold, there's warmth everywhere. In coffee shops, bonfires, and family gatherings that turn long nights into memories. From snow festivals in Frankenmuth to the ice caves on Grand Island, winter is not a pause here. It's a celebration. Fact 11. The floating post office. On the Detroit River operates a one-of-a-kind service, the J.W. Westcott II, the only floating post office in the United States. Since 1895, it has delivered mail and sometimes pizza to freighters without the ships ever stopping. Sailors lower a bucket on a rope. The mail carrier sends up letters and packages labeled, "Deliver to Captain, boat name, Detroit River." They call it mail in a pail. It's proof that even surrounded by water, Michiganders find a way to stay connected. Fact 10. Battle Creek, breakfast capital of the world. If you've ever started your morning with cornflakes, you can thank Battle Creek, Michigan. In the 1890s, brothers John and Will Kellogg experimented with grains at a local sanitarium, accidentally creating the world's first ready-to-eat cereal. Soon, factories filled the skyline, brands like Kellogg's and Post were born, and breakfast changed forever. Today, the city still smells faintly of toasted corn on cool mornings, a reminder that modern mornings began right here. So, next time you pour a bowl, remember, that crunch is pure Michigan innovation. Fact 9. Copper Country, powering a nation. Before cars filled Detroit's streets, copper powered Michigan's rise. In the mid-1800s, the Keweenaw Peninsula in the far north became the center of America's copper boom. Massive deposits lay buried beneath volcanic rock, and miners from Finland, Ireland, and Italy came chasing fortune. The metal from these hills wired telegraphs, lit early cities, and helped build the modern world. Life was harsh. Winters were long and dark. Mines were deep and dangerous. But communities endured. Even today, abandoned headframes and rusted rail lines trace the landscape like scars of industry. Museums preserve the tools, and small towns still echo with pride in the people who dug wealth from stone. Fact 8. The Sleeping Bear Dunes, a mother's watch. Rising 400 feet above Lake Michigan, the Sleeping Bear Dunes form one of the most breathtaking sights in America. Wind and glaciers shaped them over thousands of years, but legend gave them a heart. The Ojibwe tell of a mother bear and her two cubs fleeing a forest fire. They swam across the lake, but the cubs never reached the shore. The Great Spirit laid the grieving mother to rest as a dune, and the cubs became the two Manitou Islands offshore. Science explains the dunes through erosion, the people explain them through love and loss. Whichever story you believe, the view from the top, endless blue meeting golden sand, is unforgettable. If you've ever climbed it, comment, "I made it to the top." Fact 7. The first road trips. Automobiles may have been invented elsewhere, but the spirit of road travel began in Michigan. Early motorists tested their Model Ts on dirt tracks stretching north from Detroit, mapping routes with little more than compass and curiosity. The state pioneered the numbered highway system, the first painted center lines, and even the nation's earliest roadside park. Soon, families were packing picnics and heading up north every weekend, a phrase that became part of Michigan's identity. Those early drives didn't just change transportation, they redefined freedom. Every open highway you've ever driven owes a little thanks to the Mitten State. Fact 6. Motown, the sound of a generation. In 1959, inside a small Detroit house labeled Hitsville, USA, Berry Gordy founded Motown Records. What started with an $800 loan became one of the most influential record labels in history. Motown artists blended gospel harmonies with rhythm and blues to create a new, unstoppable sound. Stevie Wonder, the Supremes, the Jackson 5, and Marvin Gaye didn't just top charts, they bridged cultures during turbulent times. Motown's motto was simple: the sound of young America. Its music carried optimism, unity, and joy that still moves people today. Walk through the Motown Museum and you'll see the piano, microphones, and echo chamber where those timeless songs were born. Detroit built engines for the body, and Motown built engines for the soul. Fact 5. Shipwreck Alley, the Great Lakes Graveyard. Beneath the shimmering surface of Michigan's Great Lakes rests one of the largest collections of shipwrecks on Earth. Over 6,000 vessels have been claimed by storms, fog, or ice. The cold, fresh water preserves them in eerie perfection. Wooden masts still upright, cargo intact, names still legible. Lake Superior alone holds more than 350 wrecks, including the famous Edmund Fitzgerald, which sank in 1975 with all 29 crew aboard. Each wreck is a time capsule from a different era: schooners from the 1800s, steamers from the industrial age, and freighters from modern trade. Divers explore them like underwater museums, while sonar scans reveal new finds every year. It's haunting and beautiful, a silent archive beneath the waves. If you love history and mystery, drop a comment saying Shipwreck Alley. Fact 4. 2 peninsulas, 1 heart. Michigan is unique. 2 peninsulas, 1 proud identity. The Lower Peninsula is shaped like a mitten, industrial, populous, and full of cities and farms. The Upper Peninsula is wild, remote, and peaceful, separated by the Straits of Mackinac, but connected through spirit. They speak with different accents, celebrate different traditions, and even measure distance in different ways, miles downstate, minutes up north. Yet both share the same flag, the same pride, and the same love for water and wood. Together they form a single, balanced whole, one modern, one timeless, united by that 5-mile ribbon of steel called the Mackinac Bridge. When someone asks where you're from, Michiganders smile and say, "Which one?" knowing that in truth, both halves beat with one heart. Fact 3. The Festival State. Michigan doesn't just work hard, it celebrates harder. Every season brings a new reason to gather. In spring, Holland bursts with millions of tulips, honoring the Dutch immigrants who settled there. Summer brings the Cherry Festival in Traverse City, the National Blueberry Festival in South Haven, and endless lakefront fairs from Bay City to Marquette. Autumn glows with cider mills, pumpkin patches, and harvest parades, and when snow blankets the ground, towns transform into winter wonderlands with lights, sleigh rides, and hot chocolate by open fires. There's even a year-round Christmas town, Frankenmuth, where it's always festive. Michigan proves that joy isn't something to wait for, it's something to make in every kind of weather. If you love states that know how to celebrate, hit that like button. Fact 2. The vanishing coastline. Every hour, Michigan loses part of its land to the lakes that define it. Erosion, rising water levels, and powerful storms constantly reshape its edges. Entire trees, dunes, and even homes have been swallowed by the waves, especially along the Lake Michigan and Lake Huron shores. But Michiganders refuse to stand by. Communities replant beach grass, rebuild dunes, and install natural barriers to slow the loss. Engineers study shifting sands, while volunteers clean debris and restore wetlands. For every foot the lakes take, the people of Michigan fight to give one back. It's a constant reminder that nature rules this state, but respect and resilience can keep balance. If you've ever walked a Michigan beach at sunset, you know, the line between land and lake is always moving, but the love for it never fades. Fact 1. The spirit of Michigan. Michigan isn't defined by any single city, season, or shoreline. It's defined by its spirit. From Detroit's roar of engines to the silence of pine forests in the Upper Peninsula, it's a state that lives in motion and memory. It's a place where invention met endurance, where workers built the modern car, where musicians changed the sound of the world, where water and forest shaped generations. It's a land that freezes, thaws, floods, burns, and still rises again every time. Here the people bend but never break. They carve life out of cold winters, make festivals out of storms, and find beauty in every season. From cherry blossoms in spring to frozen lakes in December, Michigan's rhythm never stops. Once you've felt that lake wind, heard that Motown bass line, or watched snow fall over an empty field, you carry it with you forever. Because Michigan isn't just a state, it's a feeling, one that stays. And there you have it, 25 Michigan facts you won't believe are true, from the depths of the Detroit salt mines to the peaks of the Sleeping Bear Dunes, from shipwrecks lost beneath Superior to cherry trees blooming above Lake Michigan. This state holds more stories than miles of shoreline. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another GlobeX deep dive. Comment blue if you love the Great Lakes, or tell us your favorite Michigan fact down below. Thanks for watching, and remember, even the most familiar places can hold the wildest secrets.